the open road. I got the throttle wide open, beat on my pace. Got 100 horses between my legs. No destination, no end in sight. Just me and the open road, riding into the moonlight. On my two wheels, all that I need is white lines and gasoline. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
Welcome, race fans, to the Domino's TYJ Racing Premier Xfinity Race, live on All-Pro Broadcasting here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Thanks for joining us, fans. We're going to give you all the information you need tonight. First thing I want to do is introduce a good friend of mine, two-time winner in the Domino's TYJ Racing Series, Ryan Ahill. How you doing tonight, Ryan?
I'm doing good, Robert. Kind of fun to be up here. Get to watch tonight's race, get ready for next week, and I hope these guys put on a great race for all the fans watching tonight.
Yes, sir, Ryan. Hey, I really appreciate you stepping up. And unlike a lot of real NASCAR drivers that find their way into the broadcast booth, they're on the verge of retirement. I do not see anything along those lines for Ryan Ahill. You're not retiring. You're just stepping out, and we appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of more of a fun thing, I've always wanted to try it, and I don't see myself retiring a little bit early. Hopefully not anytime soon.
That sounds good. I tell you what, Ryan, I think you might have a couple of quick track facts for this fast half-mile track here at Bristol. Go over those if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Well, we are right here at Bristol Motor Speedway, right inside Bristol, Tennessee, on the border of Virginia. Bristol Motor Speedway held its first NASCAR race in 1961. That's before my time. Probably before yours too there, Robert. But yeah, Bristol has become one of the most popular tracks on the NASCAR schedule today, mainly due to its stadium-like seating and because it's probably the world's fastest half mile.
Absolutely. This is the, some people call it the last great Coliseum, and it is absolutely that, fans. I tell you one thing, I have in-laws that live right outside of Bristol, about an 8-minute drive when there's no race or no traffic. So I've been to the Bristol Motor Speedway and watched many races there live. We were there just about a month ago, and my wife was very interested in looking at the track. We were able to walk down the stadium, the seating, and I tell you what, if you're not in shape, you go all the way down to the bottom and walk all the way back up, it will wear you out. This place holds over 200,000 fans, and it is definitely a Coliseum. It's very exciting. I have had the pleasure of driving my own personal car on this track a couple years back. Nowhere near the speeds of these NASCAR Xfinity cars, but it was a lot of fun. I tell you what, who is looking good to you in qualifying so far as speeds go, Ryan?
Well, not to surprise, Curtis Young's right now, he's sitting provisional pole. I mean, he's fast almost anywhere you go in all the 3 series that I've seen him follow. And he's fast, and right now, as I said, he's holding provisional pole by almost 0.4 of a second.
Hey, I appreciate that, and now we're going to go over our quick point standings. I tell you what, we have one race, this race before the chase starts, in the Domino's TYJ Racing Xfinity Series here at Bristol. So a lot of things can happen in points. You can either gain points, lose points, make it in the chase, or fall out of the chase. And what we're going to do right now is go over the exact point standings. I think we do have a graph for that in just a second. It looks like right now, leading the points, we have Gary Sexton in that number 17. He's got 568 points. He has got a comfortable lead up front. Second, we have Jack Watts in the number 66. Third, we have Curtis Young in the 94. He does have 3 different wins in the Xfinity Series this year. Fourth in points, Donald Stewart. Fifth will be Josh Bonwell in that number 56. He's also got a win. Nick Reynolds has got 2 wins. He's in 6th in that number 10 machine. Judd Danielson has been extremely consistent. He is up there in the 7th position. Jeremy Crandall, also another great driver, been very consistent. Jeremy Crandall has 1 pole. He is in 8th. 9th, Ray Richard. He's also been consistent. And 10th, we have Rusco for the Xfinity Series points. If I'm looking at that right, give me just 1 second. And then below them, looks like we got Jeffrey Ford, Mark McFadden, James Somke, Jeff T. Martin, Eric Stanford, David Wright, Ellery Queen, Chad Payne, Mark Jackson, William Davis, and Andrew Kessler. Something's telling me I'm a little bit off on that. Did I pull up the wrong list there, Ryan?
I'm looking at a different list there than you, but you were talking about Jeffrey Ford, Mark McFadden, and Russ Coe. If you're watching tonight, those are 3 drivers you need to look at, because we have Jeffrey Ford and Mark McFadden that's actually tied for the 21st position, and they're less than 5 points out from knocking Russ Coe out of the chase for starting in 2 weeks at Talladega.
Yeah, my apologies, fans. I pulled up the wrong list there. The main thing you need to know is the battle to get in the chase. It's going to be between Russ Coe, Mark McFadden, and Jeffrey Ford. As we're about to round up this qualifying segment right now, it does look like Curtis Young has got the fastest position here on the track as far as qualifying goes, is 2 laps. We've got Josh Bonwell fast, Kyle Cameron fast, Mark Jackson. And I tell you what, these guys are going to get ready to get it on here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We're going to have 200 action-packed laps. Again, fans, you are watching the Pad 200, People Against Distracted Driving, live on All Pro Broadcasting here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Just like Ryan said earlier, it is the fastest half-mile track in the world. It is also known as the last great Coliseum. Pad, People Against Distracted Driving. Fans, make sure you are not driving your car and trying to watch this on your phone as we're talking. Tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, going to lunch, make sure you put your phone down. Too many lives have been lost due to drivers who've been distracted. And at this point, we're going to go over the starting lineup. I think you might have that in front of you, Ryan, if you don't mind going through the starting lineup. Yes,
sir. Well, Curtis Young was able to hold on to the pole. So starting on your pole position is number 94 of Curtis Young with a 14.605. Second place would be the number 56 of Josh Bonwell. Starting in third, number 51 of Kyle Cameron. Starting in fourth would be your number 3 of Mark Jackson. Starting in fifth, 24 of Eric Stanford. Sixth, number 11 of William Davis. Starting in seventh is the number 17 of Gary Sexton. And on his outside in 8th place is number 45 of Sean Calise. Starting in 9th is number 44 of Ray Richard. And starting in 10th place, number 78 of Donald Stewart. First car outside the top 10, 11th place is your number 66 of Jack Watts. On his outside, 12th place is the number 58 of William E. Moore. 13th is the number 62 of Ellery Queen. And on his outside, 14th is the number 98 of Andrew Kessler. 15th is the 246 of Jeffrey Ford. And on his outside is Mark McFadden. Again, those two were tied. 17th is the number 1 of James Somke. And 18th is number 85 of Judd Danielson. 19th, and the last car to take a time, is number 35 of Gerald Campbell. Fastest car in practice, starting in 20th place, is the number 15 of Jeff T. Martin. And I believe that's as much as I can get through right now before we go green, because they're coming to green this time by.
Thank you so much there, Ryan. Just like you said, the guys are getting ready to come to green. We got a couple of guys in the very back who did not take a time. Jeff T. Martin, Nick Reynolds, Ivan Garcia, Rusco, Jeremy Crandall, Gary Weston. So this is going to be a very extremely fast-paced race. We're going to have a lot of action, fans. And we're going to tell you a couple of great, big, important things here in just a few minutes on a lap of silence for the victims of Hurricane Harvey in Texas and Louisiana. The green is out, it looks like right now. The 94 of Curtis Young got a great jump. The 56 in that yellow freight truck Xfinity car of Josh Bonwell has already moved up to the high side. I tell you what, Ryan, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think the high side is where we're going to make most of your time, especially after the first couple of laps on these tires.
Yeah, I especially think what you were saying there, we actually had Gary Sexton in the 17 hit the wall on the first lap. Not too bad, but yeah, like you were saying, outside is definitely going to be the way to go for this race. It's just, unfortunately, we don't have that grip strip that NASCAR puts down in real life, so fastest way around here is on the outside. We see the 24 car. He's getting real close to that outside wall running back there in fifth place.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, Ryan, people say Darlington is a track too tough to tame. The Lady in Black, where you get that Darlington stripe. But I think you could almost give another nickname to the famous Bristol Motor Speedway. This is going to be the track where you're going to have a black stripe on the right side of your car. Because if you're going to be fast, if you're going to make your way up to the front, if you have any hope of winning this race, I'm thinking, Ryan, you're going to pull into victory lane with the black stripe on the car. Not too much damage, but you're going to graze that outside wall 1, 2, maybe 5 times tonight to win this race.
Ideally, you want to stay off the wall. That would be your fastest way around the racetrack. But when you start trying to pass people, that one lane of the racetrack gets really tight.
Absolutely. Right now, it looks like the 94 of Curtis Young is already putting a lap down on the 72 of Ivan Garcia, and he's doing a great job of staying out of the way. This is the point in the race. We just got started 7-8 laps in. This is going to go by fast, fans. Do want to give you a couple quick updates. On lap 33, we are going to be having a moment of silence for the at least 33 known victims of the massive, unprecedented, historical hurricane flooding situation down in the Texas, Louisiana area. So fans, we will definitely be having a couple of laps of silence for there. And we're also making a quick change here for the Domino's Free Pizza giveaway. We've had to make an executive decision to continue that program, but limit it to 1 free pizza per family. However, what that means is if you won the free pizza before, we absolutely want you to continue to watch our races, but we have so many people vying for these free pizzas that we're going to have to make that limit. A couple of families have already won the 2.
We have the clock now, Robert.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We'll get that pulled up here in just a minute as far as who might have been involved in that caution. Looks like this.
Jeremy Crandall in the number 73 looped it off of 2 there.
Yes, sir. We're going to pull that up real quick. The 73 of Jeremy Crandall. Looks like he just got loose coming off the corner. That's going to happen pretty much all night long here after we got about 8-9 laps on these tires. You're going to be running that middle lane, which is what Jeremy's doing. He just got loose going in the corner. He almost saved it. He counter-steered. He made no contact, which is great news for him. He was smart in keeping that car sitting still while all the other drivers drove around him. Very heads-up move by Jeremy Crandall, a very veteran driver. He doesn't move that car till everybody gets around it, but he did get loose, spin it out. This is going to be interesting pit strategy already, Ryan. Do you think the leader's going to come down pit road in order to get new tires?
I mean, if I was the leader, I would. But going to the leader, I'm going to give props to Curtis Young. These drivers are coming out of the corner at 130 miles an hour, and Jeremy was sitting in the middle of the track. So I give props to Curtis right there coming missing that. Going back to that, if it was me and I was in the situation, I would definitely come down and get tires. The only issue with that is you have to have track position here at this racetrack because it's extremely difficult to pass.
Well, we're about to find out in just a minute. I'm not sure if the pit road was open that time by, but as I can see right now, the 94 of Curtis Young, the 56 Josh Bonnewell, the 51 Interstate Batteries of Kyle Cameron. He is staying on the track, as well as the 3 of Mark Jackson. Eric Stanford, the 24, is staying out. Do you see anybody on pit road yet?
I do not see anybody on pit road. So I'm assuming pit road's not open yet, or everybody elected to stay out. Which I don't think that's 100% true. But oh, now I'm starting to see cars on pit road. I see some Nick Rills, Judge Danielson, and Gerald Campbell call come down pit road on the front straightaway. Around turn 4 again. Nobody's hit the commitment cone yet, so it looks like these drivers are staying out. That's to be quite honest with you, Robert, to me that's an odd strategy, especially if you're in the back of the pack, which some of these guys are.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm looking at the 73 of Jeremy Crandall came down pit road. He looks like the left side's going up. He's getting 4 brand new Goodyear Eagles. Also the 14, beautiful shell paint job of Gary Weston. He's in 16th position. He came down pit road, got 4 brand new Goodyear Eagles, and probably only half a can of Sunoco racing fuel after 10-12 laps. So some of these guys in the back did come down pit road. They did get new tires, a little bit of fuel, and that's going to make the strategy pretty interesting. Here in the middle of the pack, near the back of the pack, these guys are going to be trying to charge up through on the restart with those new tires. But like you just said, most of these guys up front, they did stay out. Like you said, track position is going to be king. I've seen many of these races, Ryan, you probably have as well. Whether you're at the end of the race with 50 laps to go, or in the middle of the race, or near the beginning. Sometimes, if we have a string of cautions and you're able to stay out front, especially into the race, you're going to maintain that track position, because getting through a field of 25 other drivers when you do come down pit road is not easy to do. Not to mention, Ryan, and you've been in this situation before as well, you can always get caught up in a big wreck if you're in the back of the pack. So it might have been smart for these guys up front to stay out.
Well, we'll find out. One car I was see Judd Danielson. He was one of the first ones I saw, so he's been fast this whole time we've been at Bristol, so it's going to be fun to see what he can do coming on this restart here.
Yep, the pace car is coming around the corner. We're getting ready for the restart here. The pace car is in. It looks like Curtis Young is on the lap pedal. He takes a great start. As he crosses the start-finish line, Josh Bonwell is right behind him, though. He's not letting him away at all. Mark Jackson in the number 3, beautiful Chevy, as well as Kyle Cameron are both trying to stay up front here. And on the outside, it looks like we've also got, that would be the Will Davis machine, the number 11. He's using that extremely high line as he's right behind Mark Jackson to keep up that momentum. Like you said earlier, Ryan, this track these days in iRacing is a high group track. You want to keep all the momentum you can up. Yeah, the number 3, Mark Jackson, got the wall. The 11 just barely touched him. These guys kept it straight. But the 11 and Mark Davis does take over that position.
Yeah, excuse me. Pushing 3 wide off the 4 right there. That was.
Yeah, that's something
you kind of don't want to do here is go 3 wide, especially this early in the race there.
Yeah, you got to be real careful. You're always risking something early in one of these races. Going 3 wide can definitely give you some damage. And you get a little bit of damage here and there on the car. This is not like a Talladega or a Daytona where you have to have the perfect front end of the car to get the perfect amount of aerodynamics. You can have a couple of dents here. You can have a couple of dented fenders. As long as you're not rubbing the tires, as long as you got the engine at full song with no leaks on the radiator, nothing blocking the grill to the radiator, you can make some really good time even with a couple of dents on these cars. Is that correct, Ryan?
For the most part, yeah. The only problem with that is iRacing, because we all know iRacing, they have a kind of a damage model that kind of, you get the wall hard enough, you can lose a decent miles per hour off your race, and that will hurt you, especially at tracks like Bristol, and they hurt you especially more at tracks like Talladega, which I think these guys will be going to in 2 weeks.
Exactly, that's exactly where they'll be going in a couple of weeks. And right now it does look like Curtis Young has got this field covered. These drivers are doing their best. Looks like the 420 of Resco is staying low. What else are you seeing up front or in the middle of the pack there, Ryan?
You know, Robert, I've been watching right about where Ray Richard is, about top 10, a little bit on back, and these guys have been nose to tail. You could fit a blanket over them. They've been really courteous to each other. It's especially from middle of the pack. It's kind of strange to see, but it's kind of fun to watch.
It's fun to watch and it's fun to drive. I tell you what, I did about 50 laps of practice earlier in the half hour session there, Ryan. And I really wish I was in the car driving tonight. These guys have definitely got their opportunity to be in the car, making the best of it. And somebody's got to run the lead. Somebody's got to be in the booth. And again, I appreciate you very much being up here with me right here, Ryan Hill, tonight. Again, you're a 2-time winner. And next week, you're going to be in the seat of the Top Shelf Cup car here at Bristol. Are you going to be able to learn anything from watching these drivers tonight in the Xfinity race?
Well, yeah, I actually hopped into a practice session, and like you said, I'd rather have you drive the car than me, especially these Xfinity cars. On top of the practice session, these guys are fighting a really tight condition off the corners. Yeah, I'm learning a lot, especially I race with some of these drivers, so it's going to be good to see what they do and maybe see what they do, and I can learn it for next week.
All right, while we are staying on the green, I want to go back to the couple of comments. We're going to have a moment of silence on lap 33, and more importantly, actually no, I retract that comment. There's nothing more important than taking a moment of silence to think about, remember, and pray. Yes, America, iRacing fans from all over the country, the victims and the families from this horrific storm down in Texas. Last count I saw, there were at least 33 people that had lost their lives. Yes, we're got another caution here. I'll go over that in just a minute. And if we need to under caution, we're going to have that moment of silence under caution. We're on lap 31 now. What do you see there as far as the caution goes there?
Yeah, it looked like the number 98 of Andrew Kessler was just on the inside and looked like he just clipped the apron and just lost on the front straightaway and hit the inside wall, and looks like his day's done.
Yeah, it looks like some serious black smoke coming out from underneath that number 98. Coming off the corner here, we're up to lap 30. I'm not sure if these drivers up front, including Andrew, and that beautiful number 98 Aegis Motorsports machine, got new tires or not. but I was having trouble keeping it from getting loose coming off the corner after 5 or 10 laps when I was in that happy hour session. So this is absolutely going to be devastating for his chances to get this win. And do you think now these guys are going to take a chance to come out that road? Looks like a lot of them are.
The way you were talking, it looks like all the leaders followed Curtis Young into the pits, which we're 32 laps into the race. That's kind of a good call.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, if you can divide this up in 30-lap segments, you're going to have a lot of pit stops. More than likely, fans, we are going to have a lot of green flag racing like we've already had so far in this Pad 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting. Again, people against distracted driving fans, make sure you have your device put down if you're in the car driving tonight, tomorrow, at lunch, over the weekend, over Labor Day. You want to make sure, especially over the holiday, you definitely have your phone put down. And we're going to take this opportunity for the next 2 laps, moment of silence for all of us fans, everybody involved in Domino's TYJ Racing, to have a moment of silence and prayer for the victims of the horrendous hurricane flooding disaster and all the lives lost, at least 33. That number is bound to go up overnight. We'll be right back in 2 laps, fans. Welcome back, race fans. Appreciate that moment of silence. Again, there's a lot of great organizations you can donate to. Personally, already donated to the SPCA of Houston, Texas. Not only do we have loss of life, we've also got loss of animals and a lot of displaced animals. So fans, make sure you get a chance to donate. As we're back to green here on lap 35.
While we're back to green, there's one thing I would like to point out. Your top 2 people, William Davis and Gary Sexton, did stay out under that caution, and we're back under caution again.
Yes, fans, we'll get that caution pulled up real quick to see what happened. Looks like it might have been the 67 of Mark Jackson was involved here.
It looked like the 85 passed 15 in the middle of the corner, and it just caused an accordion effect, and it took out a number of drivers. Oh, it took out 3 drivers.
Yeah, I'm pulling that up right now.
It looks like the number 15 of Jeff T. Martin, number 85 of Judd Danielson, the 67 of Mark McFadden, which Mark McFadden was actually part of our points. So that's definitely going to hurt his chances of trying to make it into the chase in 2 weeks. It looks like he came in there too later on in the wreck, in the 420 as well.
Yeah, thank you for that update there. It definitely looks like quite a few cars had a lot of damage there. And another thing we did not mention here, fans, you should know this if you've been around NASCAR much time at all. If you're brand new to NASCAR, then this is learning class number 1, lesson number 1. On short tracks, and Ryan can definitely attest to this, you are carrying so much speed and you are literally inches off of the other car. When one car slows up 5 miles an hour, you absolutely have a problem not running into them. And based on my review of what we just saw happen, it looks like the 15 had to check up, the car in front of him had to check up. which would be Sean Kalis.
Yeah, like you said, you're carrying, especially here, at a track like Martinsville, it's bound to happen, but here, like I said, you're carrying almost 120 miles an hour in the middle of the corner. It's so hard to check up in the middle of the corner for something like that in front of you to happen. And unfortunately, it looks like the 15 just checked up and the 85 had nowhere to go.
That's exactly what happened. And these guys, some of them, maybe the guys who stayed out earlier, do you see them on pit road? Or are they staying out again there, Ryan?
No, sir. It still looks like the leaders of Gary Sexton in the number 17, and then William Davis in the number 11 has stayed out. That's a really good pit strategy call, especially for us next week, because we get to see how good old tires can do. When we went green, it looked like Curtis Young had a small run on him, but it looked like he couldn't be able to complete it. So definitely, I think later on in the race, not taking tires, or even taking two, which most people know I'm against doing that. It might be a viable thing to get that win, to get yourself into the chase if you're not already in it, or just to get those extra points.
Exactly. As these races, we get closer to the chase, we're going to see drivers taking very desperate measures. Unfortunately, the few guys that were involved in that one, Mark McFadden, 67, and Rusko in the 420, they were right on the bubble. We'll just have to see how it plays out. And we're getting ready for another restart here. It looks like Ryan, is going to be interesting to see as they're going down actually the back stretch here. So we got a half lap for the restart. As I was going to say real quick, we're having to limit the free pizza giveaway fans to one family per year. We've had a couple of families win, a few of them. A lot of families trying to win these pizzas. So make sure you get your pick in. I'll go over the details here in just a minute. Once we get back green, it does look like the 11 of Will Davis gets a great jump.
We had a in the middle of the field right there getting to the green flag.
Yes, exactly. Looks like in front of his teammate, which would be William Davis. Gary Sexton is catching him back real quick, and the number 94 of Curtis Young is right on their bumper. Curtis right now is looking for the middle lane.
Or Gary hit the wall right there coming up.
Yes, sir. Gary Sexton at number 17. Cross-continent racing machine just barely tagged the wall. Like you said earlier, Ryan, your goal is to never touch the wall. The fastest way around is about a piece of paper between your right side and the wall. And right now we got a battle for the lead as Curtis Young is catching and looking underneath the 11 of William Davis. It'll be interesting to see if he can make that lower line work.
Yeah, I'm going to be surprised. See if he's able to get on that bottom and make it work. And it looks like William Davis getting real close to that wall. Too much for my liking. I'm going to be impressed if Curtis can get to that inside and see if he can make use of those fresh tires.
For the time being, Curtis is staying behind the number 11 of Will Davis. He keeps taking a peek as they come off the corner. As we speak now, he's taking another peek in the middle of the groove. He's trying to get that launch, but as you know, and it's obvious to all of us watching right now, the number 11 of William Davis is just getting a great launch off the corner with some serious momentum. So as we speak, the number 11 is leading this field. Behind him, we have the number 94 of Curtis Young. And fans, I do want to give you the details now. Thank you so much for being patient and waiting. This is how you can be the next winner of the free large 3-topping Domino's pizza. If you're watching the race on your tablet, or if you're watching it somewhere else, two ways you can win that free large 3-topping Domino's pizza. You can text 919-883-7497, or you can comment in the live chat, which we monitor both sources of communication. All you have to do is say, I picked this driver to win the race, or just name the driver. You have to make that pick before lap 100. We encourage you not to make more than one pick. Don't pick one driver and then pick a second driver 10 laps later. If you pick 2, 3, 4 drivers, I cannot honor your picks because you've only got a chance to pick one driver, so take your time. You got another 48 laps to go to make your pick. But the first fan who actually picks the winner of this race before lap 100, who has not previously won a free large 3-topping Domino's pizza through Domino's 2x2 Racing, you will win that free large 3-topping Domino's pizza carry out only. We do not deliver it to you in these premier Xfinity cars, or our dented fender trucks, or our top shelf cup cars. But we do deliver out of every single Domino's store in the United States of America. So make sure you take advantage of that opportunity. What are you seeing up front, Ryan?
Well, yeah, you were actually going over that. We actually had Curtis Will Davis just kind of tapped the wall just a little bit, and he was getting real close to that wall, like I was saying. And Curtis Young was able to get door on him, and it looked like Will just went ahead and let him go. So now Curtis Young on lap 54, just a little bit over halfway, or not halfway, but halfway to win your pizza. Curtis Young's not a bad pick, being that he was able to get around Will Davis with the lead. He's your current leader, but he's now your leader again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ryan. And here's where some strategy is going to come into the race for you picking your winner, fans, but also for these drivers and these crew chiefs. As we all know, this is a night race here at Bristol, but these tires do wear. The question is Curtis wearing the tires out, making that pass, completing that pass, or is he good to go? Maybe right now Will Davis is going to take care of his machine and his tires. You're going to have to factor all this in, because if we have a good 100-lap green flag run here, Brian, these drivers are going to have to make what we don't ever see here very often in almost GYG racing at Bristol. It's called green flag pit stops, and it is sure to confuse a lot of people. So that's going to be an interesting part of the factor. If you were the 11, Brian, or the 94, would you be driving as hard as you can right now, or would you be conserving tires?
To be honest with you, I think you have to do a little bit of both. You have to drive hard enough to keep the car behind you, but you don't want to overdrive it to where you destroy your tires before the run. A fuel run here, you're not going to be able to make a full fuel run here on your tires unless you were that dedicated to it. Problem is, a lot of these, I'm looking back here over here in the top 10, and these guys are getting, and looks like the 66 and Ray Richards just got caught up in the spin on the backstretch. The caution flag is out.
Yes, fans, we'll get that replay pulled up real quick to see exactly what happened. You were just watching it. You said it was the 44 of Ray Richard, and who else?
66 of Jack Watts. Looks like they were, or 58 was stacking them up about a lap before. And Ray looked like he had a run on the outside, and 66 just came up just enough to where it turned him into the wall. Looks like a standard racing incident, but it's unfortunate for both of them because they were both kind of just peeking into the top 10 there. I feel kind of bad. It's the first time up here, and I'm watching them, and they both wrecked. So I kind of hope I don't have that curse that you hear a lot of these other drivers that have.
Yeah, it looks like a position in the race. They're on lap 58, where these two drivers were just going for the exact same inch of the racetrack. We've seen that in real NASCAR races at Bristol many, many times. Coming off these corners, you're carrying the speed. You might be on the low line. You think you got a couple of inches to clear the driver, and he's getting that great run off the corner. And the exact second you're making that move to pass him, he's got that extra 3 miles an hour of momentum, and you're technically not clear. And so that was just a big-time racing deal as far as that goes. And on this note, we're going to take our first little quick commercial break, fans. We'll be back here in just a minute. You're watching the Pad 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting. We'll be back in a minute.
Smithley, driver the number 0, JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
Welcome back, race fans. You're just in time for the restart. We got Curtis Young on the outside, Eric Stanford at number 24. He is Billiards Machine. Curtis gets another great launch to 17.
Ooh.
Just gets right up in the side of the 24 of Eric Stanford. Looks like they were just doing a tad of trading paint. That is definitely going to allow the 94 of Curtis Young to stretch his lead by 2 or 3 car lengths. What'd you see?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that happened, but that being that this is a one lane, that's what you almost have to do to get by people here, and it's unfortunate like the way it happened. But Gary and William, they're right 2 and 3 right now. They're putting a hurting on old Curtis. And right now, as we say that, Gary Sexton gets a great run off the corner of the turn 2, and he's side by side with the number 94 of Curtis Young. To be quite honest with you guys, I'm surprised that Gary's able to hold the bottom that well, and it looks like he gives up the bottom.
Yeah, up front, they're definitely giving Curtis Young a mirror full, and at this point in the race, we're still early, fans, but this is where some of these drivers in the front, they got the brand new tires, and it looks like he's making a move on the inside of the 94. Is that William Davis?
Oh, we got a wreck on the front straightaway here, Robert. Looks like William E. Moore got off at turn 4 on the inside of Kyle Kamer, and just looks like they touched bumpers and got loose and hit the inside wall.
Yeah, I'm pulling that replay up right now, fans. It does look like the 58 had some momentum as he was catching the 51. And he's using that momentum and just barely makes contact, it looks like, with the 51 of Kyle Kamer. Looks like Kyle had to get out of the gas a little bit there as he got up close to the wall. I'm still looking at this real quick.
It looks like something you see right there in real life.
Exactly. It's almost like the driver is trying to pull the steering wheel to the left to stay off the guy in front of him. And he just hooks it a tad too much, and the car spins out because, as we know, these cars, with all this horsepower, with some tires that are worn, on this surface, you're already on the edge of control of losing it, and that's exactly what happened to 58 of William E. Moore. The good news is nobody else was collected in that. Looks like William E. Moore more or less has got some front-end damage. Did a great job of keeping that car out of the racing groove. I don't see any smoke coming out of his car, so hopefully get down pit road, get the fenders beat out on that. Hopefully there's no radiator leaking, and he'll get back in the race and have a good finish here once we get going again.
Yeah, it looks like during that, though, looks like the number 66, he was 1 lap down. Jack Watts, looks like he got the lucky dog for that exchange, for this caution.
You can definitely call that lucky. There could be a lot of drivers with a chance to get a lucky dog tonight.
Oh, yes, sir. It looks like our next car lap down would be Ray Richer, which him and Jack were actually involved in that earlier caution. Right now, it looks like Ray's 2 laps down. So he must have gotten a lot more damage on that initial wreck than I personally thought.
Yeah, quick update. We do still have 2 drivers that are battling for that last place. To make the chase, Rusco. He started in 23rd. He's in 23rd, 36 laps down. Mark McFadden, however, started 16th. He is still in 16th on the lead lap if my information is accurate.
Yes, sir. I'm looking at the same thing, and Judd Danielson, Mark McFadden, and Russ Coe were actually involved in that wreck. So it's definitely going to put a strangle on that last points-paying spot to make it into the chase in 2 weeks.
Yeah, if Mark McFadden can avoid any more contact for the rest of this race, I think he might be the lucky transfer dog into the chase playoffs here in that 20th position. Of course, we'll have to wait until we have our famous, very trusted point calculator that comes from our good driver friend Kevin Fetty that Judd Danielson downloads. It's an automated computer, perfectly designed special program that our good friend Kevin Fetty put together a couple years ago. He is the guru of computer programs. He runs our website and the point standings that we just lock in the results of the race to. Judd Danielson does. It automatically kicks out the results, and that's going to be interesting to see when this race is over.
Well, you say that. Well, 13th and 14th is Jeffrey Ford and Mark McFadden. They're actually tied for that last spot. I think Russ Coe may be kicked out because he's 38 laps down, but I'll keep an eye on Jeffrey Ford and Mark McFadden because those two are going to be the ones fighting for it.
Absolutely. Forgive me, fans. Forgive me, there, Ryan. Absolutely. Jeffrey Ford is still in contention as we do have the restart. Looks like the 94 of Curtis Young gets another great launch. And we have the same players in the same places up front. We got the 17 car of Gary Sexton putting all kind of heat on the back of Curtis Young. We've got the 11 of Will Davis right now trying to use that bottom groove to make up time. He's getting passed right now by the 24 ES Billiards machine of Eric Stanford. I tell you what, this lower groove is going to be interesting to see if it pays off. Right now, it is not paying off for the 11 of Will Davis. And don't look now, but the 51 Interstate Batteries powered machine of Kyle Cameron is up to the 4th position.
Yeah, Kyle's always one of those guys. He's kind of like the Kevin Harvick of this league. He always comes in late, whether it's in this series or in the top shelf. He always somehow gets his way up in there. And, as you say that, it looks like Gary Sexton. He's putting a lot of pressure on, we got a book, man.
Yeah, looks like we got a big stack up in the back.
And that is and they're still driving into it there, Robert.
Yeah, we got all kind of vehicles collected in this one. We're going to pull this up real quick on the replay and see exactly what happened. Like we mentioned before, these guys are running right at 130 miles an hour, fans and Ryan, as they enter the corners here. And they're all got their own groove, their own momentum, their own rhythm. That's the word I'm looking for, Ryan. They know their rhythm and their car on this track in these conditions. And some might be a mile an hour quicker going into the corner, some might be a mile an hour quicker in the center of the corner, and some might be a mile an hour quicker off of the corner. So when you're 3 or 4 inches off the back of somebody and your entry might be a mile an hour quicker than the guy in front of you as far as your momentum goes, you want to keep your momentum, you want to keep your rhythm and make that pass or stay as close as you can. In that particular case, it definitely looks like the 24 of Eric Stanford.
Wow, it looks like the 11 just got into him, like you were saying, it's a momentum or rhythm-based racetrack, and 110% correct. It looked like the 11 just came in a little bit hot and got the 24 sideways. 11 tried to check up, and it looked like one of Kyle Cameron tried to pass it, and then that's when, everything just broke loose. Everybody was trying to stay off each other, and then that's, unfortunately, a track like this, like you were saying, you're 100 miles an hour in the center of the corner, you can only do but so much to slow up for a wreck, especially when you have another driver, as Robert stated, 3 to 4 inches off your back bumper. It's unfortunate because it looks like it took out a lot of good cars, including number 24 of Eric Sanford and number 11 William Davis.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of these guys have got some damage. I want to remind you, fans, you've got about 18 laps to get your pick in for the free large 3-topping Domino's pizza. Again, if your family has already won one of these pizzas, you are ineligible. We've had to make that decision going forward for the rest of the season. Got a lot of families that are watching every single week trying to get that free pizza. Nobody really has an advantage, but instead of one family getting 3, 4, 5 different free pizzas, we'd like to spread it out. So if you've already won the free pizza in your family, thank you so much. Keep watching. You're very, very important to us. But make sure you get your pick in. The first fan to actually pick the winner of this race before lap 100 in about 17 laps, you win a free large 3-topping Domino's pizza, carry out only from any store in the United States of America. Ryan, what are you seeing on pit strategy up front?
Looks like most of the guys are staying. So I was still looking at the wreck, trying to see who was all collected in it. That's a lot. It was a lot of good cars, but it looks like up front, it looks like everybody's still staying out. I don't know. I mean, next week I think you'd see me come in for almost every caution just because of the tire strategy. But as we just saw, you could be running up front, you could be running in the middle of the pack, you could be running in the middle of the pack. You're not safe here at Bristol, and it's unfortunate. That's just, the track is so small. You're carrying such high speeds. Nowhere on the racetrack is safe, and we just saw that.
Exactly. That could even be another nickname of this track. Nowhere to hide. We saw it a couple weeks ago in the live NASCAR races. There's nowhere to hide. You can be slow, you can be fast. Once something happens, you're carrying so much speed, it is so hard to slow down. So what are you expecting on this restart?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm still surprised that Curtis Young's still taking the inside for this restart. If it was me, I would definitely be taking the outside because you should be able to hold it wide open, but They're doubled up now. We're coming to the green. It looks like, and Curtis Young gets back in the throttle hard, and Gary Sexton is following him right behind. About 3, 4, 5 single filed out. Looks like back here about 10th place, they're still getting double filed.
Yeah, they got their single file from the front, the 94 Curtis Young, Gary Sexton, the 17, the number 1. Is this a new player in the top 3? He looks like.
It looks like James Hopke. He actually didn't put the qualifying time. He qualified 17th. He did. I'm sorry. He did have qualifying time. He qualified 17th, and he's up here running for 3rd place now. And he's putting looks like he's trying to put some pressure on Gary Sexton.
Yes, sir, Ryan, and he is in that beautiful, looks like the Trans Am Chevrolet Camaro on his paint scheme. Great looking paint scheme on this car in the number 1. Like you just said, he did have a qualifying time, but it was way back in 17th. He's another one of the drivers you got to just be careful for, because he can sneak up and win one of these races. I'm pretty sure he got a win in 2016 in the Domino's 2IJ Racing Series. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. A little bit further back in the field as we go to 4th position, we have got Nick Reynolds. He's in that beautiful Southeast Motorsports, dominating the track Chevrolet Camaro. He's up to 4th position. Behind him, we got side-by-side battles between Mark McFadden, the 67. Great move for Mark being up here. He's going to almost guarantee locking himself. Yeah. Oh, and we got some contact behind him. I was just watching that here, and we're going to go over the replay real quick. What did you see, Ryan?
Well, it's unfortunate. It looks like Jack Watts got caught up in another wreck right here off of turn 4, but this one looks like it wasn't any of his doing. It looked like the 62. You know, guys, you're on the bottom of the racetrack, and you're going to push up real hard, especially with these Xfinity cars. And it looks like he just clipped the apron. You're wide open trying to get the run, and he just came up and wasn't clear.
Yeah, and it is so hard to get out of the gas here.
And actually, what I'm looking at now, they were actually still wrecking off of the back of the pack. Looks like the 52 wasn't able to hold his brakes and slid down the track. Collected Kyle Cameron, the 51, and the 73 of Jeremy Crandall.
Yeah, I'm looking at the replay right now myself. It does look like the 62 he had the brake zone, but he just wasn't able to get it completely stopped. So quite a few cars were caught up in this one.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, because that's one big thing that us drivers really, especially when caution's out, we're trying to avoid a wreck and the driver front doesn't hold their brakes. It's unfortunate when more cars get collected than should have. It looks like, not sure if pit strategy is going to come into play. We'll definitely see. It looks like we don't have a taker so far. Actually, we do. It looks like the number 67 of Mark McFadden, number 85 Judd Danielson, number 98 of Andrew Kessler. They're all coming in on the front straightaway to make their pit stops.
So this is going to make a restart here very interesting. And as we are getting close to the halfway mark, we got a lot of good cars, Ryan, that we talked about earlier that are basically taken out of the race now. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen as far as strategy goes, and as far as who can get back out there, make up some ground, stay out of the trouble, because there has been a lot of trouble so far. And right now it definitely looks like somebody up front is going to be somebody that you would want to lean towards to get this win. If Curtis Young in the 94, Gary Sexton the 17, James Somke, we just talked about him in that beautiful Trans Am Camaro. If he stays up front, Nick Reynolds, he started all the way back in 21st. He's up to 4th. Eric Stanford stayed out of trouble. Sean Kalis, another great driver, started 8th. He's up to 6th. We'll go over his paint job here in just a minute. Jack Watts, Jeffrey Ford. It'll be real interesting to see how these guys manage, including Gerald Campbell, who's in the 9th position, and Josh Bonwell in 10th.
Yeah, and you were talking about that one driver I've been keeping my eye on all night. He was involved up in an earlier wreck. He was 2 laps down at one point, and he's back on the lead lap now. That's Ray Richard. He's been doing a good job keeping his car clean. Let's see. He's got 4 fresh tires. He's going to be at the back of this pack, one of the last cars on the lead lap. Let's see if he has anything for these guys to the last half of this race.
Yeah, Ray is one of the smart drivers that we have in our series. A lot of guys are smart. A lot of guys are really, really, really talented. A lot of guys bring fast cars every single week. Sometimes you gotta, use your smarts, your crew chief, your pitch strategy, and just being heads up in this race, in this league. If you don't have the fastest car every week, and that's exactly what Ray Richard does. to a perfection. He's always up front. When he's not up front, he's figuring out some kind of way to get back up front, and that's exactly what he's done so far tonight.
We're doubling them up now. We're coming to the green flag for lap number. We're coming to lap 97, so we're almost at the halfway point. And it looks like Kurt Young, once again, he's back on the loud pedal again, and looks like that outside right there around the 45 car always seems to stack up. It looks like top 3 or 4 or 5 are actually going to single file out right here.
Yep, it definitely looks like the 24 is going to fall into position 5. That would be Eric Stanford, the 66 of Jack Watts. He's going to fall into position 6 here. Another beautiful car we got on the track tonight is that number 35 of Gerald Campbell. He's in that Scooby-Doo Chevrolet Camaro. He's had a great run so far tonight. He's up in 7th. Looks like he started all the way back in 19th.
We got a good battle for 3rd going on here. We got Nick Rills and the number 10s going underneath the number 1, and looks like he was pushing real hard coming out of the corner. And unfortunately, that's one thing you're going to have to put up with if you're on that inside, is that big push off the corner. And there goes Nick. Can he save it? He saves it. That's the drop.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, he is one of the guys with the most talent in his back pocket. That's not the first time I've seen Nick Reynolds in that beautiful Southeast Motorsports Chevrolet Camaro get loose for what I would be, in my book, a complete disaster wreck. But Nick Reynolds, with his talent, was able to save that car. Not everybody was going to be able to do that. We've seen a lot of guys get loose there and ruin their car. But Nick Reynolds is not too much worse for wear. He's back to 9th position now.
Yeah, I don't know if we're keeping up with the battle right here for 3rd place, but it looks like the ones, seems like he's checking up to 24 and 66. They're almost having an accordion effect. And number 35, you said it was Scooby-Doo Machine? I'm surprised. He's making that inside work pretty well for what he's able to do. He's past 24 so far. It looks like he's trying to put a battle for 3rd place. He wants to break his way to the top 3.
Absolutely. Looks like the one of James Somke in that Trans Am Camaro just barely grazed the wall, which is almost what you got to do. And the 24 is looking and thinking twice.
We had a little bumper hit right there from the 24 in the 1 car. 35 clears him on the bottom.
Yeah, good move for Gerald Campbell in that Scooby-Doo Camaro. Beautiful green paint job. He's definitely made his way up. Looks to that 3rd position like we were talking about. He is definitely making the bottom work. I'm not sure if he got brand.
On the turn 4 here, Robert. Sorry to interrupt you right there.
That's fine, no problem. Yeah, no problem at all.
Yeah, it looks like the 10, once again, you driver caught on the bottom, and they're wide open, just not cleared enough. And it looks like he hit the number 45 of Sean Collis and Wells Fargo. It looks like an old Kyle Petty throwback scheme.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to do is go over the 45 paint scheme. He always brings the most incredible Tanner Tallarico paint jobs. Hold on just a second there. Tonight he does have that Wells Fargo number 45. Unfortunately, is involved in that incident.
We got leaders on pit road.
Yeah, go ahead and cover that real quick.
Is there where it looks like all your leaders are coming down pit road except for a select few? It looks like the 10 looks like, well, I'm not sure where the 10's pit stall is, but as of right now, he stayed out on the racetrack. And it looks like the 10 of Nick Reynolds did stay on the racetrack. The 35 stayed out, the 45. Two drivers are involved in the wreck, like they're staying out on the racetrack. Same way with the drivers that actually pitted last caution, including Jed Danielson, the number 85, and Ray Richard, the number 44. So right now we're just over halfway, Robert, and I don't know about you, but this is a lot more. It looks like some of these other drivers are pitting, but this is a lot more of a pit strategy race than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I tell you what, sometimes you got to take that into account. And pit strategy is going to have a lot to do with who's going to win that race.
It looks like your first driver back on, I would assume 4 fresh tires would be the number 94 of Curtis Young, and then Gary Sexton right behind him, and then the number 1 car of James Somke. Looks like Nick Reynolds, number 10 is going to be your leader coming to the green flag here, as long as he doesn't pit. Unless the 10, actually, Robert, I'm wrong. It looks like the 10 car is a lap down according to my screen.
Yeah, it looks like the 246 of Jeffrey Ford is coming down pit road to get those 4 Goodyear Eagles.
That's 100% my fault. I thought the 10 was a leader, and then it looks like the 35 You were just talking about him in that nice Scooby-Doo paint job, and it looks like he's going to be leading here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were just talking about our old buddy Ray Richard going from 2 laps down. It looks like he's going to be starting on right there on the outside of him, second place.
Yeah, so we got some new guys, some new players up front here. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how these guys can handle the second stage of this race. Again, fans, you are watching the Pad 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting. Make sure, fans, you get a chance, click that subscribe button. That way you get all the alerts for our Wednesday and Thursday night races. That's exactly when you get the chance to win that free large 3-topping Domino's pizza. You don't even have to worry about it. So click the subscribe button on your device if you're watching All Pro Broadcasting. Again, we encourage you to do that. We thank you so much, all the members who've done that so far. And it looks like for this restart, we've got some guys that are going to be up front we hadn't seen lately.
Yeah, and going by that, this is actually the first time tonight somebody's going to pick the outside as the leader. So I'm really excited to see what's going to end up happening, especially with Gary Sexton being on the outside of the number 94 right here. And he's the second car on fresh tires, so definitely going to see what ends up happening here. You can take it away from here.
Yes, sir, the green flag is out. Looks like we're getting a great start here.
It looks like Gerald Campbell got a right. Oh, wow. And there was a wreck on the backstretch.
Yeah, it looks like Gerald Campbell got a great jump. The 94 of Curtis Young.
Yeah, and coming from the drivers, it looks like Ray was, just talking about Ray Richard too. He looks like he just pushed up the track on those old tires, and Gary was there on the outside, and it's unfortunate because that took out Gary Sexton, the number 24, and it looks like Curtis Young actually got some damage from that as well.
Yeah, I tell you what, when you've got tires that got some laps on them, it's definitely a difficult thing to stay out of the way, especially when you're about to be 3 wide. Unfortunately, it looks like the 44 spotter, he was not quite clear, got up into the 17 of Gary Sexton. And obviously a few cars got some serious damage. And on that note, fans, we are going to take our very last commercial break. You are watching the Pad 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting. We're going to be back in just a minute to take you all the way to the checkered flag to find out exactly who wins that free pizza and to figure out who makes it into the chase. We'll be right back, fans.
You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with Freedom Train.
Welcome back, race fans, to Domino's TYJ Racing Premier Xfinity Series live on All Pro Broadcasting for the Pad 200 People Against Distracted Driving. Fans, make sure you're not driving distracted. Before we go back green, we're going to have a quick Domino's driver profile on our leader, the number 35 of Gerald Campbell. He is from Sebring, Florida. His team is Aggressive Eagle. His sponsors are Veterans of Foreign Wars, and as you can see tonight, the Scooby-Doo Camaro tonight. He's been 15 years racing in Legends from Florida. He is a 2012 Pro Truck champion, so it's good to see him up front. Gerald started, looks like, all the way back in the 19th position. Ryan, this is exactly why these guys show up and race, because you've definitely got a chance if you're in the race, no matter where you start. And on that note, Gerald gets a great start here. Sorry about that, Ryan. Cannot quite hear you. Looks like behind him, the 17 of Gerald Campbell. Excuse me, Gary Sexton. And that 17's got a little bit of damage, but I tell you what, Gary Sexton is hanging in there in the second position. Curtis Young was leading for many, many laps in this race. He's back there in third.
Yeah, sorry about that earlier.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah, look, he got a great start, and Gary took advantage of it to get by the 94, and looks like those older tires are holding up a little bit better than I thought, especially with Gary Sexton and the number 17, 94 of Curtis Young. And Gary Sexton looks like he tips the wall just a little bit. That's one thing you'll definitely see tonight, is a lot of these guys will diamond the track, especially next week with these higher horsepower cup cars. They'll diamond the track, and it's hard not to hit the wall when you do that.
Exactly like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, this is not Darlington. You're not going to get the Darlington stripe, but most of these drivers up front are definitely going to have a Bristol stripe on the side of their car tonight, as it does look like the 17 of Gary Sexton, with that little bit of damage on his cross-continent car, is making some headway on the 35 of Gerald Campbell. It could be just a matter of time before he is able to make the pass. And in third, we do have Curtis Young, which to me it looks like Curtis is just saving his stuff right now, this part of the race. We've also got some other drivers a little bit further back. I was going to mention on the lead lap, last car on the lead lap right now, we have the 45 beautiful Wells Fargo machine of Sean Kalis. He's been involved in an incident. Most all these guys have had some kind of incident on the track tonight. I'll be hard-pressed to find a car with zero damage at all. What are you seeing in the middle of the pack or up front there, Ryan?
Yeah, well, one thing I'm actually noticing is coming off the corner, it looks like these guys are backing up the middle of the corner and diving back down to the bottom of the racetrack. Yeah, well, I 100% agree if you're trying to do that on a short run, but try to get speed, but on a long run, that really kills your right rear tire, you know, Robert?
Exactly. So these guys are probably maybe counting on another caution here soon. And if we do not get one, and we've had many races with a lot of green flag runs, we got a lot of fast drivers that are on pit road with heavy damage, so we have less cars on the track right now. Sure, we could get another caution. We probably will. But if we don't get another caution, it's going to come down to who's got the best tires, who's taking care of their tires the most right now at this part of the run. And obviously you want to do everything you can do to be in the top three. But if we have a long 70 lap green flag run to the end here, if you got good tires and you took care of them, you're going to have a good chance to win this race.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. I've seen races, and I've been part of races, especially in the Domino's Top Shelf Series, where we've had tons of cautions at the beginning of the race, but it seems like the last 80 laps, you want one, you don't get one, and I think we might actually have that. And as we say that, these top three are fighting hard. Here comes Josh Bonwell. He's trying to put up a fight. And I was actually reading the comments. I know his mom actually stated that she hates this racetrack. Let's see if he can pull off the win.
I tell you what, his mom, Thayla, she watches every single week that he races. He is one of our great drivers, a great family. They live together. Actually, they don't live together, but a father, son. Like I said, she is one of his biggest fans, if not the biggest fan of that yellow freight number 56 machine. And he is definitely making some serious headway as he's catching these top three leaders. And looks like right now he's got a great run on the 94 Curtis Young. So I'm not sure if he's got fresher tires or he just took care of them those first 10 laps after the restart.
Well, you see, he's still running a little bit high. He's running about a lane and a half higher than these guys. It looks like Gary Sexton just got in the wall a little bit. And here comes Curtis Young making a run for the second place. And if you don't look too far in front of him, we got a couple lap cars coming. So that should come into play very shortly, too. Actually, come into play right now.
Exactly, and these guys are doing a great job of staying low and out of the way. It does look like the number 35 of Gerald Campbell is hitting his marks. The number 94 of Curtis Young just got around the 17 of Gary Sexton, who does have quite a bit of damage on that 17 machine. Front right and the rear right in the middle. It doesn't look like it's slowing him down very much at all. And like you said, the 56 of Josh Bonwell, he does have some right front damage I noticed as well. He is up to that fourth position. So we got some new players up front. I'm trying to look back. Go ahead.
These drivers look like they were running with damage. They look, and as we talk about that, Josh Bonwell's going to the way bottom of the racetrack. Curtis Young actually bumps the 35 car, and it causes another cornering effect, which allows Josh Bonwell to get right to the bottom. Josh is doing some we haven't seen all night. He's right up against that black line. It looks like he's able to gain a little bit, but not enough to actually make a pass.
Yeah, he's trying to get about a half a lane up, and it looks like he may have the momentum to get around the 17, but this is some great battles up front. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Curtis Young's, we're coming down to the end of the race. It looks like he's getting a little impatient with the 35. Don't blame him. It looks like he put the bumper to him a little bit, but these 2 lap cars are definitely going to be in the way of Josh right here. You know, props to the lap cars, especially right here. They're doing what they need to do. They're getting out of the way. They're allowing these leaders to race, and that's what good sportsmanship is about.
Exactly. I tell you what, we've got some fantastic drivers in this league, and it looks like right now, like you said, the 94, he already maybe gave a little bit of a kiss to the back bumper of the 35. Now he's looking on the inside of Gerald Campbell. Does he get to run off, and is he able to maintain the momentum? As Gerald keeps the momentum going to the corner, it's going to be hard for that low line to work, but the 17 and Gary Sexton is trying to do the same thing. I tell you what, Ryan, I'm not sure who's going to win this little battle, whether it's the high lane or the low lane, and it might take the bumper to get around the 35.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, because especially the 35's on older tires now. But the one thing that Curtis has to watch out for, as he looks like he's door-to-door, he looks like he might actually complete the pass. But one thing with passing these drivers, you have to watch out for that car behind you, because they could easily go on the outside and freight train you and put you in the back like you would see at Talladega or Daytona.
Yeah, I tell you what,
a little bit right there, too. Curtis Young is still putting up right on the inside side right there.
hey, no problem, Ryan. This is very, very exciting. I'm not sure how I've seen this battle at Bristol, but this is going to this caution is out. It's going to change everything. Fans, give us just a second to pull up exactly what happened there. Did you see what happened?
I currently do not see anything as of right now. I'm still looking, though.
Looks like the 98 was involved.
Thank you.
That would be the 98 of Andrew Kessel. We're going to pull that up real quick here and see exactly what happened.
Yeah, we're going back and looking at the replay. It looks like the 98 looks like he was in front of the Ivan Garcia in the number 072, and Ivan just looked like he got a run and tried to go to the bottom, and that's enough to turn somebody.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. He just got in there a little too hot. You can even be a lap car trying to make a position up, and sometimes it goes wrong. That's exactly what happened to the 072 Ivan Garcia. Great driver. He's learning every single week. We're happy he's part of the Domino's TYJ Racing Series. But unfortunately on that particular penalty, or that caution, looks like he was the one that made the mistake. But these leaders, what's happening up front as far as pit road goes?
Yeah, looks like all of them actually came down pit road right here. Well, actually I'd say that, and the 94 ends up staying out. So it looks like the 35 ends up pitting and a couple other drivers behind him. It looks like the only 2 drivers that ended up staying out is the 94 and 17. So it literally flip-flopped pit strategies. Was just almost 54 to go, about 55 laps to go. Definitely going to make it interesting.
Yes, sir, Ryan. It looks like right now the leaders are in this scoring. Will refresh here in a minute. But we do have the same players up front. Curtis Young leading. And that, like I said, these positions might be off a hair until it refreshes. Gary Sexton's up front, second. Gerald Campbell third. Jeffrey Ford in that 246. He was on the bubble there on that 20th position to make it in to the chase. Looks like he's looks like he's having a great run.
Yes, sir. He was tied with Mark McFadden. And I'm going to assume with Russ Coe being 76 laps down, I'm assuming 5 points would be a lot. And right now it looks like Jeffrey Ford would take that final spot unless somebody else was to come in and win the race that wasn't already in it. Which at this point, Curtis Young has wins. He's already in the chase. So if the race was to finish right now, it looks like Jeffrey Ford would take that last spot in the chase.
Very good. This will be interesting.
Yeah, it looks like we're just waiting for this caution to finish up here, waiting for the cars to get back on, or lap cars to get back around the racetrack and for us to double them up and get ready to go green again.
Yes, and this is going to give us a green with probably about 52, 53 laps to the end of the race. And it'll be very interesting.
And it looks like we're doubling them up now, so we should be going. It looks like we're going green this time by, and Curtis Young once again takes that inside line.
Yeah, right now up front, we got some players that are definitely hungry to get this win. These guys up front are already solidly locked into the chase. I'll let you take the restart, Ryan.
Yeah, it looks like we're green, and sorry about that. Yeah, 94. He closed the door real quick right there on Gary Sexton. That's a little bit too close for comfort, and that allows the 35 to get right to the inside. Gerald Campbell on that brand new tires. He's not going to give up this fight. He's kind of so close to clear the number 17 of Gary Sexton. And while doing so, he's still trying to get to number 35, or number 94 on my bad.
Yes, sir. That was very exciting and very close quarters. There could have been a little bit of trading paint there on the 94 and the 17. Curtis Young and Gary Sexton. And like you just said, the 35 of Gerald Campbell. You know this, Ryan, because you've led a lot of laps. Once you get that lead and you lose it, you definitely want to get the lead back as soon as you can.
Oh, definitely, especially at a track like this, as we stated earlier today, and I'll keep saying it, especially going into the next week track message. Did Curtis Young just blow a motor?
Yes, it's not the team communications. The 94 Curtis Young just blew a motor. Not exactly sure what happened, but unfortunately that's going to take him out of the race. He's going to be coming down pit road to a crawl. Heavy black smoke pouring out of the bottom of that number 94 machine. Very unfortunate.
Wow, he must have sustained some radiator damage from the wreck where he got in earlier. That's amazing, especially here. Yeah, here you get a little bit of damage. Temperatures will rise because you're on the throttle more than you're off the throttle. That's very unfortunate. It looks like the 35 got real loose right there off of 4.
He sure did, and he did another great job of saving that one. We've seen 2 incredible saves tonight.
Yeah, while these drivers are sitting here saving the race cars, doing that, you have Gary Sexton. He just took the lead. He's driving away from it now. We got a new driver. He's going for second place. We got right there, Jeffrey Ford. He's in second place. He just took second place away. It looks like the 56 is coming down pit road for an issue as well. Josh Bonwell.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. It seems like late in these races he is continuing to have some kind of electrical issues with his car, and hopefully they get that figured out. Up front here, like you said, we've got some great players up front we haven't seen in a while. Jeffrey Ford in that 246. Try to get a quick look and see what's on the hood of that car. Looks like he is driving the FEG. That's called the Ford Entertainment Group Ford Mustang. He's having a great run tonight. Looks like Jeffrey started all the way back in 15th. And he might even pull off the win tonight. That would absolutely lock him into the chase. But I think he's got it in points if he can stay here in the top 10, 15.
Well, I don't want to be one of those reporters, but look who just broke their way into the top 5, and looks like they're going for 4th. We got the 85, Judd Danielson, working his way back up here now. And that's Domino's machine.
Absolutely, he's having a great run. Unfortunately, Judd Danielson with that 85 Domino's machine, I wish he was up there for 4th, but it looks like he's 20 laps down in 14th. But he does have his car repaired, and he's making a race out of it. He's got, he's battling actually for Eric Stanford for that position, the 14th, 15th position. Pretty sure Judd is securely in the chase, but I think he's had his feathers ruffled a little bit tonight, and he is driving hard, and he's doing his best to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, you're correct. I didn't see the updated standings when we crossed the line, so I thought he was on the lead lap. So that was 100% my fault.
No problem at all. It's easy to miss something like that, especially in this kind of race, as fast as these guys are going. I'm trying to keep up with the leader in second place, and next thing I know, I'm looking at pit road at the car parked. But we got a lot of drivers out of the race. We got Gary Sexton right now dominating this race. Gary Sexton is one of our talented drivers. He's done a lot for our league here at Domino's TYJ Racing. He started all the way back in 7th. We got some other drivers also having a good run, like I just said. Gerald Campbell started in 19th. He's up to 2nd. Jeffrey Ford started back in 15th. He's up to 3rd. James Somke in that number 1 Trans Am Camaro. I love that paint job. He's up here on the 6th. Yeah, it's working great. And William E. Moore had some issues earlier. He's up to 7th. Mark McFadden, he's actually trying to fight his way up into the top 20. Watch see how the points shake out, because he was on the cusp of making it in before the race, and he is on the lead lap, the last car on the lead lap in 8th place. So I think Mark McFadden might be able to make it in. We'll just have to see how this shakes out.
Definitely, especially with only about 37 laps to go, roughly.
Yeah, this is exactly when sometimes we get that long green flag run. So you're saying the freshest tires are on the 35 of Gerald Campbell?
I believe so, yeah. He came down pit road and Gary Sexton stayed out with Curtis Young, but unfortunately Curtis blew the motor unexpectedly, and it looks like they're roughly about 1.4 seconds. They're not gaining, they're not pulling away. And as I say that, Gary Sexton stretched his lead out to 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure tonight, unlike last night in the truck race, Gary Sexton has got plenty of fuel. He's got plenty of fuel in that Cross Continent Racing number 17. It's a Toyota Camry. A little bit of damage on the hood, a little bit of damage on the right and the left front of this car. You can see that right front tire poking out. But like I said earlier, a little bit of damage will not hurt you too bad if your motor is in good shape. And hopefully, he does not have any radiator issues like Curtis must have had. And hopefully, Gary will be able to complete this race and pull off a win.
Yeah, I'm actually watching this battle for second place stir up, but it's kind of interesting. You have the 35, Gerald Campbell, and right behind him, which is Jeffrey Ford. They're both running the middle to bottom of the racetrack while Gary's still to the top of the racetrack. It's a weird way to run the track, obviously, but I don't know if I want to run the bottom of the racetrack right now, but it looks like it's still 1.5 seconds between the two.
Yep, and we got a Hornet's Nest back here, looks like, for the 8th position. We got the 67 Martin McFadden actually in front of him. We've got Sean Kalis in the 45, Wells Fargo. He was running 6th. Oh, and he just barely got in the back of the 58 of William E. Moore, must have slowed down. I think the 58 of William E. Moore just lost his motor as he's pulling down on the back stretch. So this is 2 motors we've seen go in the last 30, 40 laps.
Definitely, we have a caution out.
Yeah, fans were getting it pulled up right away. I think it had something to do with the 44.
It was the 45 car there, Robert.
Yeah, excuse me.
It was the 44, my fault. 44 looks like he hit the wall, came off the racetrack in front of Judd, and spun back into the racetrack in front of the 45 car.
Yeah, those are almost identical paint schemes, completely different sponsors. The 44 of Ray Richer, another great driver. Talked about him earlier, just barely made contact with the wall. Came back down, got involved with the 85. Also, the 45 plows in there. And the 56 is able to sneak through.
Yeah, he saw a little hole and went for it.
Sometimes being lucky is being better than the fastest car on the track. And right then, I think the 56 of Josh Bonwell, who does look like he got his electrical problems fixed, is back out on the track. And he is...
on a track like this, you have to be lucky, but unfortunately for him, he's a lap down, and he may get the lucky dog because Ray Richer was in that first lap down spot. So definitely, see if we can get his lap back.
That's exactly what he's hoping for. Unfortunately, if you have the motor blow, like we've just seen, the 58 of William A. Moore and the 94 of Curtis Young, the points you're going to make are going to be where you're sitting on the track right now. You're not making up any more points. But up front here, this is going to be very interesting on this restart. Do have a couple of guys in the back of the pack coming down pit road. Did you see anybody up front pitting there?
Yeah, we actually had the 35 of Gerald Campbell come down pit road. It looks like him, along with Jeffrey Ford, from what my results page is showing up, they came down pit road. Gary Sexton, once again, decides to stay on the racetrack. Not sure with this late in the game, with about 35 laps to go, I'm not sure I would be pushing my tires this much. Especially with we don't have a lot of cars from the beginning of the race, so it should be relatively easy, especially if you're a fast guy. I mean, right now I'm only showing 5 guys on the lead lap.
That is correct. We've got Gary Sexton in first, Gerald Campbell second. Mark McFadden in the 67's moved his way all the way to the 3rd place position. I try not to be biased here at Dominus GYJ Racing, but it is good to see the 67 machine having a great run. Good for Mark. Hopefully he can hold it up and get another top 3 or a top 3. Probably will be his highest finish of 2017 here at Dominus GYJ Racing. Jeffrey Ford is up to 4th, and in 5th, like you said, we got James Somkin, that number 1. Again, fans, you are watching the Pad 200 People Against Distracted Driving. Fans, we are so appreciative for them coming on board and sponsor quite a few races. They're a very, very big, prominent, famous, very noteworthy organization, charity organization. Make sure you go there to donate, pad.com. And also, fans, more importantly than that, make sure you're not on your device in your car driving tonight. tomorrow on your lunch break. This weekend, Labor Day, there's going to be a lot of people out there doing a lot of crazy things on the roads. So make sure you are not driving distracted, and we do thank them for being here.
So, Robert, we have 25 laps to go. We have Mark McFadden in third and Jeffrey Ford in fourth. They pretty much stayed out of trouble the whole race, and they are racing for that last spot in the championship. Gerald Campbell, he started at 19, and he's worked his way up. We're coming to the green flag. How much patience do you think these guys are going to show?
I think we're down to almost zero patience, and unfortunately the 17 Gary Sexton on old tires, although they're not very old, these drivers with brand new tires, including the 35, the 246 Jeffrey Ford, Gerald Campbell. This is going to be a real interesting thing. And Gary Sexton takes off. He gets a great jump, which is all allowed here at Domino's 2IJ Racing. They can go as soon as the pace car comes in. Gerald Campbell is dominant on the inside, and he's going to have to fall back in line behind the 17. From what I understand, the 35 of Gerald Campbell is way, way deep back in the points. He has got to win this race to make it into the chase, and that's exactly what he's going to try to do over the next 20 laps. A little bumping and banging there, sir. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I was actually trying to look for the points, see if I can find the number 35 here on the point section right now. Because if he's outside the top 20 and he wins this race, that actually ends up knocking Jeffrey Ford and Mark McFadden out of it. And you are correct. Gerald Campbell, he's going for a win, and right now he looks like he's the leader. So if he wins this race, that's your last spot here, folks.
Absolutely. So you're saying if he wins, it's going to knock the 67 Mark McFadden, the 420 of Russ Coe, as well as Jeffrey Ford out of the chase?
No, from the points I'm looking at, if Gerald Campbell can hold on for another 20 laps or so, he will actually knock Russ Coe out of the chase, and that will be because Jeffrey Ford and Mark McFadden were outside looking in, and they passed Russ Coe in points. If Gerald Campbell can hold on to this and win, he's going to be your final transfer spot.
Wow. No wonder he's got this really, really beautiful trick paint job on his car. Try to get a little closer view. It is the H&H Scooby-Doo number 35. Not sure what the H&H stands for, and I'm not going to ask him right now, but this Chevrolet Camaro, Scooby-Doo, bright green and blue all over it. He is making the most of his opportunity. He has been around for almost a year now at Domino's 2IJ Racing. He's had a lot of great runs. I do not think he's had a win. I know not here in the Xfinity Series. I'm not even sure, Ryan, if he's had a win in the Truck Series yet or not, but he is definitely one of the up-and-coming, very talented drivers, and he's got this race looking good now. I'm not going to call anything because I don't want to jinx the young man.
Yeah, I would also keep an eye right here on second place at Jeffrey Ford. I think he actually got in the wall a little bit up before last lap, the number 246, but he's on the outside looking in. This could be like a real life back in the day when the chase was first started. Ryan Newman ended up knocking Kyle Larson out of the way, and Jeff Gordon finished second. It knocked Jeff Gordon out. I don't want to know what Jeffrey Ford's thinking. If the points are right, he's watching the leader pull away, and that's that final transfer spot. I don't want to be in that position if I was with them right now.
In this day and age of technology, I am confident and sure that the crew chief, the spotter, the team owner, they are definitely going to know where Jeffrey Ford is instant points right now. And if he's got to get up there to the 35, and if he's got to get around the 35, that's what he's going to try to do. But right now, it looks like he is still about 1.7 seconds behind the 35.
Yeah, he got ground, losing a little ground every lap, about almost a half a tenth to a tenth a lap, and we're coming with 10 to go this time by.
Yep, we've got a little bit of lap traffic up front. We got Rusco in that 420 trailer trash lot 420 machine. He's staying low, staying out of the way, doing a fantastic job tonight. He's running up in the 17th position. Russ is doing everything he can. He was involved in an incident earlier, 78 laps down, but he is a class act driver, and he's also the singer of his band, Lot 420, Trailer Trash Lot 420. You can find his music on Amazon, Walmart.com, Babies R Us. He's got some great music out there. I bought the whole album when I first heard it. And back up to the front, we've only got a few laps to go. What are you seeing, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm just watching. I don't even know. I'm feeling for Jeffrey, man. If the points are accurate, you're riding right where Jeffrey is. You're just watching your chance at a championship just drive away from you. Gerald Campbell's worked his way up to about 2-second lead right now. As he crosses the line, it's about a 2.1 second lead. And I would hate to be in that situation, driver. I really and truly would. As a driver, as an owner, or a crew chief, even somebody, even right here, I'm talking about it. It just sucks, man. You just see it, and you know, props to Gerald Campbell, man. He took tires, he came in, he did a pit strategy, and right now, coming to 5 to go, when he hits the line, he possibly could win his race, or win this race and make his way to the chase in 2 weeks.
That would not be a storybook ending to the year, but it would be a storybook ending to the regular season before the playoffs occur. Looks like he just completed the pass on the 98. That would be of Andrew Kessler, another fast driver. Looks like he's 13 laps down.
Yeah, it looks like the restart, Gary Sexton, he stayed out. He dropped back to 4th. He's raced with Mark McFadden for that 4th position right now. But all up front, coming to 2 to go when they hit the line, is going to be Gerald Campbell in the number 35 Scooby-Doo car.
Yep, Gerald Campbell has got that number 35 machine. Looking good here with looks like he's crossing the line with 1 to go. So he's got to make 4 more corners. I take that back. He's got to make a straightaway and 2 more corners. It looks like the number 35 of Gerald Campbell and Scooby-Doo machine crosses the start-finish line and races his way in the 2017 Dominus TYJ Racing chase.
And it looks like we actually had an incident coming to the checker flag with the 17 car for that 4th position.
Yeah, we're going to look at the standings. If you will go through what you're looking at right now and let us know how they're finishing in the top 15 or 20.
Yeah, well, right now, we know fireworks are going off. Gerald Campbell in the number 35 Scooby-Doo machine, he takes home your win, and he was outside looking in. He did what he had to do, so he's going to be racing for the chase in 2 weeks at Talladega. In 2nd place, number 246 is Jeffrey Ford. He started back in 15th, and like I said, if the points are accurate that what I'm looking at, he's going to be your first car out, unfortunately. And then 3rd place could be the number 1 of James Sopke. He started back in the 17th. So, and even in 4th place is Mark McFadden. So yeah, it's a kind of cool trend here, Robert. The guys that started near the back of the pack actually finished up front.
Yep, if you want to go through the remaining order.
All right, well, 5th place took home he was your last car on the lead lap was Gary Sexton. 6th place was Josh Bondwell, followed by Ray Richard in 7th. 8th place is Nick Reynolds. Looks like 9th place for Ivan Garcia. That's not bad at all for Ivan. And then 10th place, rounding out your top 10, is Andrew Kessler. 11th place would be Judd Danielson, followed by Eric Stanford, Sean Callis, William E. Moore, and a 15th with a blown motor, 50 laps down, was Curtis Young, which was your pole sitter.
Hey, I appreciate that so much. Again, fans, we're going to give you the details of who might have won that large free pizza. Right now, it looks like we've got the 3 winners. We're going to get them ready for interviews. Congratulations to them. It's been a great race. Real quick, can you let us know what your takeaways were from the race so far as I get these guys ready?
Well, like I said, I mean, my takeaway is, for me, being a driver, especially racing next week, it woke my eyes up. It definitely sees what people are willing to do to go get into the chase. We saw Gerald Campbell. He took some really risky moves, I guess you could say. He did what he had to do, and by doing so, he got his way into the chase. And it's unfortunate for other drivers, but it's good for other drivers as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to see what in 2 weeks we can do, what these guys can do in Talladega to start off the chase. And I'm looking forward to hearing what these top 3 drivers have to say from their race, being that they actually started in the back of the pack right around each other.
Yeah, that was definitely a very entertaining race there. And it looks like, I don't know if you have the calculator, but it might take us a few moments to get the exact totals figured out for the end of the race, see who finishes in what spot. But I'm not sure. I know we know one thing is for sure. We know that Gerald Campbell has transferred his way in. And we also know that there could be a driver or two that did not make their way in. All right, now I'm going to hand it over to my good friend Ryan, who has called up with our third place finisher of James Sonke. Take it away there, Ryan. Just a sec.
James, how you doing here, bud?
I'm doing well. Had a great race.
Yeah, you know, we saw you coming up through the field. You guys were in top 3, started around near each other in the back. So 200 laps around Bristol. You ended up surviving for the most part. It looks like everybody came across with some damage, and you came home in third.
That was really the key, just surviving. That top group was really fast around here, and my spotter really helped me get through some of these messed up cars coming around the track.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was fun watching up here. I'm glad I wasn't racing it this week.
Yeah, it was a lot of aggressive driving there at points, and some tempers really came out, and I saw hands going out the window a lot. So people were really trying to get everything they could.
Definitely, especially here at the world's fastest half mile, you're going to have some beating and banging. This is the old style short track racing. But other than that, how exactly did your race go?
My strategy was to let the race come to me and not try to be aggressive in the moves and avoid everything, and it played out just perfect. I didn't race too hard in the beginning. In the middle of the race, I started to make a move up front and got through some of the spins and just kept on getting it, so the race really came to me as we planned before the race.
Yeah, you know, that's good to hear, especially just being able to survive here. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one, but is there anybody else you want to thank before we send you on out for the third place finish?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank Domino's Racing for putting together a great league, and my wife, great, for supporting me getting the practice in here to do this, and HTPC Racing for giving me a hot race car.
Yeah, Robert was actually falling in love with your paint scheme there.
Yeah, that's a great one, James. And thank you so much for being here. Congratulations, and we will definitely talk to you over the weekend, perhaps. Have a great Labor Day.
All right, thank you. You all have a great one, too.
Thank you, James. Looks like now we have caught up with our second place finisher, Jeffrey Ford. Jeffrey Ford, congratulations for that great second place finish. Jeffrey, can you hear us? I do not have contact with Jeffrey right now. So we're going to go right up to our winner. Maybe we'll get a hold of Jeffrey in a few minutes. Ryan made his way down, all the way down, that fast. Yes, he did, to Victory Circle. Ryan, you have got the winner. Gerald Campbell, take it away.
Yeah, so Gerald, outside of the chase looking in, you looks like you did what you had to do to make your way into the chase in 2 weeks at Talladega. Started back in 19th. Tell us how you did it.
I can't believe I won. I didn't come into here thinking I had a chance. I thought Gary had this. I mean, Gary smoked me in the truck series here. I did the same plan as I did in the truck series. I stayed 2 seconds behind the very last car until halfway point. Waited for all the carnage, waited for all the very, very strong and reckless. And then I decided to make my way up there, and it worked out perfectly for us. I just can't believe I got it done when I needed to like this. So I might be a contender if I can be able to keep this up if I pull it out when I need to.
Yeah, it looked like on that last pit stop, you and Gary actually switched like tire positions. You were on older tires at first, and then you pitted, and then he was on the older tires. And that looks like that gave you the advantage that you needed to do to come out and win this race.
Yeah, while I was back there just minding my own business for the first 100 laps, I spent the first 100 laps just working that low line, knowing how to be able to make a move on that low line, knowing that if it came down to at the end, I needed to be able to at least run a few laps down there. Most people ran the outside for most of the race, and when they got down to the bottom, they just didn't have any idea what it was like. So I practiced that move on Gary for 100 laps before I got to him, and if he had tires, it'd been a different story. But I got on the radio with him, and I told him I have to get in, and I'll I was determined. I was very determined. I'll say that.
Yeah, like you said, that 100 laps got you into the chase for the championship coming up in 2 weeks starting in Talladega. But before we go ahead and let you on go and celebrate your victory and get you on moving with the champagne bottle here at the world's fastest half mile, the last great Coliseum, who would you like to thank tonight?
I like to thank my parents, my fiance who's watching this, always supporting me. She's going to have to let me do more of these races so I can be able to compete full-time in the Xfinity, because now I'm in, and now that I got a win under my belt, I'm wanting to go after it. Always thank the vets. Big supporter of the VFW, and I always believe that you should always thank the vets of this great nation. And heart goes out to anyone in Texas, and anyone that's watching this race. It's going to be exciting. If not, I'll make it.
Well, we sure hope so. So, once again, thank you. Good job for your win today. Congratulations on that. Hope to see you in Talladega in 2 weeks. See what you can do there. So, I think Robert was finally able to catch up with our second place, Jeffrey Ford.
Yes, sir. Congratulations again, Gerald. Jeffrey Ford, caught up with him down here. He's getting another bottle of water. This was a hot race, although it was at night. Jeffrey Ford, congratulations for a second place finish. How'd you pull that off?
First off, thanks, Robert, for putting on the show here. Well, it was early on. I knew my race was really against two drivers, which was Rusco and McFadden. And then once Russ went out, me and Mark were automatically in. But I knew the only other option was if somebody new won. So once I saw Gerald out in front, I knew that I had to actually come out ahead of Mark, and I was able somehow to play a little possum for the better half of the race, and then at the end and go time, I put the pedal to the floor and followed Gerald around for a bit.
Well, you definitely drove the wheels off of that Ford Mustang. It is awesome to see two Ford Mustangs in the top three finishing tonight. Tell us a little bit about your Ford Entertainment Group sponsorship.
Yeah, that's just my. I do a lot of broadcasting of my own races and just other games. It's just my own YouTube channel. So I just like to stream everything. iRacing is my main game that I stream. I stream some other games, but yeah, Ford Entertainment Group is just my own YouTube channel.
Well, hey, congratulations again, and we're going to get the official point standings up here in the next 20, 30, 40 minutes, hopefully, and we'll know exactly where things shake out. Congratulations, great run, and we'll definitely see you soon. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Who else would you like to thank real quick for this great finish?
I'd like to thank my better half for putting up with me and practicing. It takes a little bit of time away from the family, but she's very supportive, and also I'd like to thank my teammate there, Gerald, for urging me on throughout the race.
Awesome. It's great to see teammates finishing 1-2. Hopefully you guys can pull that off many more times in the future. Again, congratulations, both of you. So I tell you what, for Michael D'Amico, who does all these incredible camera angles with All Pro Broadcasting, again, fans, make sure you click the subscribe. This has been Ryan Hill, his first time in the booth. Sounded to me tonight like he'd been doing this for a year or two. He did a great job. Thanks again, Ryan. This is Robert McFarland signing off. Fans, we do have a winner of the free pizza who picked Gerald Campbell. It looks like John Everett from Martinsville, Virginia. He kind of got the pick in there early. Maybe he just liked the color of that car. It was right before qualifying was over. He made that pick, so congratulations to him and his family. Again, fans, thanks for being here. We'll be back next week for our Wednesday night truck race. You do not want to miss it. Again, thanks to everybody else. All you fans, have a great night. Have a safe and happy Labor Day. We'll talk to you soon.
number 0 JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.